Hello and welcome back. This is a video on balancing chemical equations. This is hoping you've already done naming compounds and also writing formula. You won't be able to do this section effectively unless you understand those two topics specifically. We start this in grade 9 with balancing, but then balancing takes us all the way to grade 10, 11, and 12. If you are not understanding how to balance by the time you get to your senior grades, you won't be able to do most of the chemistry. So let's get into it. Okay. So first thing we need to understand is that we have something called the law of conservation of mass, the law of conservation of energy, all of these things about the conservation. We cannot create something from nothing. Okay, so the definition there is the mass is neither created nor destroyed in an ordinary chemical or physical change. Okay, we can't make a cake unless we have all the ingredients to make the cake. So we need to make sure that whatever we start with, we're also ending with. So in this example over here, it's really easy. You just say, okay, we have some wood and we're going to burn it. We start with 30 kilograms of wood and we have 1 kilogram of fire. So that makes 31 kilograms. And then after we've done the experiment, after we've done the burning of the wood, okay, we are then making. This is not an equal sign. It is a making sign. It is an arrow, okay? Logs and fire don't equal ash and smoke. They make it. So we need to make sure we are using an arrow and a plus. We never minus anything. We're not losing anything, okay? We're just combining. So a log and fire, which comes to 31 kilograms, is going to make 28 kilograms of ash and 3 kilograms of smoke, which is still 31 kilograms. So this is the law of conservation of mass, relating to kilograms, mass. It can also be related to energy, the law of conservation of energy. Whatever energy you start with, you also need to finish with. Doesn't matter if it's a different type of energy, it's just as long as the energy remains the same. And it's the same for chemical compounds. Whatever you start with, that is what you're going to end with. If you have hydrogen and oxygen and you're making water, and suddenly now you're also making carbon, where did that carbon come from? It can't. Whatever you start with is what you must end with. Okay, so first thing we need to make sure that you remember from grade 8 is your diatomic molecules. Di means 2 and atomic means atoms, 2 atoms. There are certain elements on the periodic table that do not occur as a single. Okay, when you think about oxygen in your brain is always O2. It's never just O by itself. Okay, so when you think of it, it's always O2. And there are 7 elements like this. They do not like to be by themselves. Okay, so the 7 elements have a nice phrase that I like to use is this phrase: I bring clay for our new home. There are lots of different phrases you can use. There's one about ice cold beer if you want to use that one, but I like this one because it just makes it a little bit easier for me. So these are the 7 diatomic molecules. Like I said, they don't like to exist by themselves. They'll always be with another one of themselves, like O2, or another element entirely. So let's say calcium oxide. Here the oxygen is not alone, it's with calcium. Here the oxygen is not alone, it's with another oxygen. Here it will never exist as an O. Okay, if we look at H2, hydrogen, it's another one with itself, or hydrogen can be with another element entirely. You will never find chlorine or hydrogen by themselves. They don't exist like that. Okay, so they will be with themselves or another one entirely. Okay. Excuse me. So the 7 elements, and this is the phrase, I bring clay for our new home. The I stands for iodine, I2. Okay. The bring, BR, stands for bromine, bromine 2. The clay, Cl, chlorine, Cl2. The F is for fluorine, F2. The O is for oxygen, O2. The new is for nitrogen, N2, and the H is for hydrogen, H2. These are the 7 elements you have to know off by heart that exist as 2's. If you do not know this, you will not be able to balance chemical equations because you will just write Cl instead of Cl2. So please make sure you're knowing your diatomic molecules so that you can balance properly. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to make sure you're knowing. Obviously, in grade 8, you would have already learned the first 20 elements and the couple of extras that like to crop up in science, like your iron and your copper and your zinc and things like that. But just make sure that you know those. Okay, and don't forget your polyatomic ions. Okay, so this is from grade 8. In grade 8, we learn what a chemical reaction is. It is a reaction where reactants are reacting together to form a product. Okay, to form, remember, to make, to form. It is an arrow, not an equal sign. Okay, the reactants are always on the left and the products are always on the right. Sometimes the reactants have multiple elements or compounds, and sometimes the products have multiple elements and compounds. The way you learn it is the left-hand side is reactants and the right-hand side is products. Okay, so this is the grade 8 concept, products and reactants. So reactants, we're just going to look at this one, coal. We know coal is carbon. Okay, so I have a carbon over here, and we are reacting it with oxygen. Oh, there's your diatomic molecule, oxygen, O2, not O, O2. So when carbon reacts with oxygen, it makes, it forms, it produces carbon dioxide. We know CO2 is carbon dioxide, okay? So CO2. For those of you who need your crisscrossing for this one, remember carbon is in group 4, it gets a +4. Oxygen is in group 6, it gets a -2. Remember, the 2 comes down to the opposite, the 4 comes down to the opposite, so it becomes C2O4, but we cannot leave it like this because we need to simplify in science. 2 goes into 2 once, so it's C imaginary 1, and 2 goes into 4 twice, so it's CO2, and that's why it's CO2. Okay, so this is just a basic chemical reaction, and this is what we learned in grade 8, that carbon reacts with oxygen to make carbon dioxide. Left-hand side is reactants, right-hand side is products. Please make sure you're using pluses and arrows, never minuses and never equal signs. Okay, so let's get into the grade 9 work. So sometimes your teacher might ask you to write a word equation. Sometimes they will ask you to write a symbol equation, and sometimes they'll ask you to balance a chemical equation. I'm going to do it all 3 of them so you get an idea of where we're going. So here's the blurb or the question or whatever you want to call it that you get in a test. So let's say sodium and chlorine combine to form sodium chloride. Great. We know sodium. Okay, we know chlorine, they are both on the periodic table, and we can kind of understand what sodium chloride is because we know how to crisscross, we know how to write formula. First question, let's say, said write the word equation. Word, not symbol, word, and it says equation. Okay, so you have to write the word sodium. Remember, spelling counts when we're doing things from the periodic table. Sodium and is a plus, and chlorine. Okay, lots of people get chlorine wrong because it's chlorine, chlorine. Okay, and forms sodium chloride. Okay, don't forget the IDE from your naming. First element keeps its name, second element is going to end in "ide." Okay, so this is a word equation. I would give this 2 marks if I had to ask my grade 9s or grade 8s to write this in a test. Okay, then the second type of question they could ask you is to write a symbol equation. They didn't say anything about balancing, they just said write a symbol. So what is the symbol of sodium from the periodic table? Na, not SO. I get SO a lot with my learners. It's not SO, it's Na. Na plus. Chlorine. Oh, wow. Chlorine is a diatomic molecule. I bring clay for our new home. So we need to say Cl2. Okay? And then sodium chloride. This is a name. I need a formula. And because it's a compound, I need to make sure that the formula is correct. I need to make sure that I have crisscrossed. So remember, Na is in group 1, it gets a +1. Chlorine is in group 7. It gets a -1. When they are both the same number, you can ignore the numbers and you can just write it out, NaCl. Okay? So I'd give you 1 for the left-hand side, 1 for the right-hand side for this type of equation. Okay, so step 1 there was a word equation. Number 2 was a symbol equation. Those are pretty easy. You could do it in grade 8. Sometimes they ask it in grade 9. Okay, here's where it becomes a little bit more challenging. So now, same thing, but now they say write and balance. We already wrote it in the previous step, so I'm just going to write Na plus the Cl2. Remember, Cl2 is a diatomic, goes to NaCl. So that's what I had before. Okay, now I need to balance. There are 2 ways of doing it. There's a long-winded way, which I'm going to do with you, and then there's a much shorter way. If you know how to balance and you get used to it, you can just do it the shorter way. It's perfectly fine. But I'm going to do the long-winded way with you so that you understand what we are doing. Okay? First thing I want you to do is I want you to halve it at the arrow. It's left-hand side, right-hand side. We always halve it at the arrow. The left-hand side must equal the right-hand side. Okay, so then I write out and I go, okay, Na, how many Nas are there? And remember, there's an imaginary 1 here. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's do it in a different color. Let's make it orange. So remember, there's an imaginary 1 here and there's an imaginary 1 here. There's an imaginary 1 here and there's a 2 here and there's an imaginary 1 here. Remember, this big number in the front tells you how many molecules there are. This number tells you how many atoms there are. Okay, so there's a difference. This is molecules, this is atoms. So, how many sodiums are on the left-hand side of the arrow? There's only 1. There's 1 sodium here, so there's 1 sodium. And how many chlorines are there? Okay, this 2 belongs to the chlorine. There are 2 chlorines. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to erase this so that it doesn't influence our balancing, so it doesn't confuse you. Okay, so that's nice for left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, this is a compound, NaCl. It's basically like they are times together, okay, like in maths. If there was a number in front, so let's say this was a 4 in front, like in maths, the 4 belongs to the Na and the Cl. That's how it works in maths, that's how it works in science, okay? But there's no 4 there. But if there was, let's say, a 4 over here, it only belongs to the chlorine. It wouldn't belong to the sodium. It only belongs to the chlorine when it's a subscript like that, okay? And then if the 4 happened to be in brackets like this, with the 4 on the outside, again, it's like maths, it would get distributed in. So please do think a little bit maths-like when you're doing these sections. Okay, so on the right-hand side, how many Nas are there? There's only 1, remember, imaginary 1. How many chlorines? Imaginary 1. So there's 1 chlorine. Okay, so now we're halfway there. We say there's 1 sodium on the left, 1 sodium on the right. So sodiums are equal to each other. That means I have conserved my mass, I've conserved everything. But here, there are 2 chlorines here, but only 1 chlorine here. What can I do to this chlorine to make it a 2? I'm going to times the 1 by a 2 to get my 2. Whatever you times it by, that is the number that goes in front of the compound. Not here. It can't go here. That's wrong. And it can't go down here. That's wrong. It has to go in front of the compound. If you put a little 2 down here, that tells me that you plucked an atom out of thin air and added it to the NaCl. You can't do that. I don't know anybody who can do that. And by putting the 2 here, it means you physically split the sodium and chlorine with your bare hands. Again, I don't know anybody who can do that. So we don't want to do that. We need to put the 2 in front because that tells me that I went to the cupboard and I got more table salt out of the cupboard and added it to my beaker. By changing this number, that's possible. You can't change something here and you can't change something at the bottom, because you can't pluck atoms out of the atmosphere and you also can't break NaCl up. You personally, sitting in your chair, do not have enough energy to do that. So we need to make sure it is in front. Whatever you are timesing by, that's the number that goes in front. Okay, and just like I said, by putting the 2 here, like in maths, what have I now done? I've changed the chlorine, yes, but what have I now done to the sodium? I have also times it by 2. So now I have 2 sodiums on the right-hand side. What can I do to this sodium to make it also a 2? I can times it by 2. Whatever you times by, that's the number that goes in front. By changing this here, I have not changed here because there is a plus between them. When there's a plus between them, this only belongs to the 1. It's not like here, okay? It's not like when it was here, when there was, this is not a plus, okay? Remember, this is timesing over here, so it's not a plus. So by changing this one, you changed both of these. That's not the same when I put the 2 here. There's a plus here, so I didn't change the chlorine, I only changed the Na. Okay, so now I confirm. I've got 2 NAs on the left, 2 on the right, 2 chlorines on the left, 2 chlorines on the right. So now it is balanced. I'm going to rewrite it. The reason why we rewrite it is because sometimes teachers can't read all of your chicken scratch. Okay, so we rewrite it so that the teachers can read it nicely, and we'll give you a mark for the left and a mark for the right. Sometimes we might even give you 3 marks for something like this. Okay, so this is the long-winded way. There is a shorter way, which I'll show you just now, but this is a nice way for those of you who need to visually see what we are doing. Okay, so let's just erase this a little bit so that I can show you the shorter version. Okay, those of you who tend to be a little bit better at maths tend to get the shorter way a little bit easier, just because you can visually see the change. Okay, so you look, here's your balance. All you got to do is you say, okay, here is 1 sodium. Then you look to the right. Here is 1 sodium. There you go. This is 2 chlorine. But here I only have 1 chlorine. What do I do to this to make it 2? I put a 2 in front. By putting a 2 in front, I've made chlorine 2, but I've also made sodium 2. So I go back and I put a 2 in front of sodium, and my equation is balanced, just like that. Okay, so that's the short way of doing it. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't do it like that. It's all about practice. The more you practice, the more you can do the short method. Okay, so that then leads me to this slide where I've just shown you that there are 2 sodiums. Here's a sodium sweet and here's a sodium sweet. So I now have 2 sodium atoms. They are separate. They are not connected. Okay, the 2 is in front. They are not connected. It's 2 different atoms. Here is 1 chlorine. They are connected. Okay, they're joined. They're connected. They have a chemical bond. Okay, and we are making 2 sodium chlorides. Okay, 2 sodium chlorides. They are separate atoms. I mean, separate molecules. They are 2 sodium chloride molecules. Okay, let's try another one. Calcium and oxygen react to make calcium oxide. First, we write the symbols. Calcium. Calcium is Ca. Okay. Oxygen. I bring clay for our new home. Oxygen is a diatomic, O2. Okay. And we are making, again, on the top right-hand side, I'm going to do calcium is in group 2. It gets a +2. Oxygen is in group 6. It gets a -2. Remember, you have to learn your oxidation numbers or your valencies or your bonding numbers, depending how your teacher teaches it. We ignore the plus and minus. It's done our job. We know that we can put a plus and a minus together. The 2 would come down. The 2 would come down. But because they're both 2s, I don't have to worry. I can just rewrite it out without crisscrossing. Okay, so here is my equation. I now need to balance. Again, we halve it at the arrow. On the left-hand side, there is 1 calcium. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 here. And there are 2 oxygens. 2 oxygens. Okay. On the right-hand side, there is 1 calcium, imaginary 1, and happens to be 1 oxygen. Okay. So again, now we go and we see, okay, 1 calcium, 1 calcium. There's 2 oxygens. What can I do to this oxygen to make it a 2? I times it by 2. Okay? Whatever you times by goes in front. Okay? And just like in maths, because I put a 2 in front, it belongs to the Ca and the O. So I also times calcium by 2. So now they're both 2. So now what is wrong with this calcium? It's only a 1. So I need to times this calcium by 2 to get a 2. Whatever you times it by, that goes in front. Okay? And remember, there's a plus here, so I have not influenced the O2 at all because there's a plus separating them. So 2 calcium, 2 calcium, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen, balanced. Then I like to rewrite it. 2Ca plus O2 goes to 2CaO. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3 marks maybe, depending on what your teacher allocates it for. Okay, not too bad. So these ones are not that bad because it's all on the periodic table. But in grade 9 now, there are a few compounds you have to learn off by heart. Yes, there's a lot of learning off by heart, but it's just something that you have to do. And once you learn them in grade 9, you should then be set for grade 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so here are the ones that I like to teach my learners. Okay, obviously, it's better if you learn their common names because those are the names that we're going to use in exams. Okay, but a lot of the time you can also use their chemical name. So first one is H2O, is your water. Then NH3 is ammonia. It gets used very, very often. HCl is hydrochloric acid. That's the one that's in your stomach. H2SO4 is sulfuric acid. HNO3 is nitric acid. H2CO3 is carbonic acid. NaCl, please don't learn it as salt. It is table salt. Okay? NaOH, I would prefer you to learn that it is sodium hydroxide, not caustic soda, but sometimes they like to throw in caustic soda. NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so I like sodium hydrogen carbonate, but you can also use it bicarbonate of soda. That's your baking soda that you use for baking. Na2CO3, sodium carbonate, also known as washing soda. KNO3 is potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter. KOH is potassium hydroxide. We don't really use caustic potash, but potassium hydroxide is used quite a lot. CaCO3 is calcium carbonate, is your marble. Calcium sulfate, CaCSO4, also known as gypsum. CO2, its chemical name and common name are both carbon dioxide. Magnesium sulfate, okay, also known as Epsom salts. CuSO4 is copper sulfate, also known as blue vitriol. Again, we don't particularly use that very often. We normally use the copper sulfate. And CH4, it is carbon tetrahydride, but methane and natural gas. Those are the two that we like to use. Okay, so these common compounds are ones that you have to learn off by heart because we might use it and then you need to be able to use it for your balancing and things like that. Okay, so we're moving on to slightly more complex. So here's nitrogen and hydrogen combine to form ammonia. So nitrogen and hydrogen are both diatomic. Nitrogen and hydrogen. I bring clay for our new home. And ammonia, it's one of those ones you have to learn off by heart. You won't know it unless you learn it off by heart. NH3. There's no cheat way of learning it. You just have to learn it like that. Okay. So we halve it down the middle. Okay. On the left-hand side, I have 2 nitrogens and I have 2 hydrogens. On the right-hand side, I only have 1 nitrogen and I have 3 hydrogens. Okay, so a little bit more challenging now because now we're working with 1, 2s, and 3s. Okay, so here I have 2 nitrogens. Here I only have 1 nitrogen. What can I do to this nitrogen to make it a 2? I times it by 2. Whatever you times by, that is the number that goes in front. But because I made this 2, what have I done to hydrogen? I've also times the hydrogen by 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. So now I have 6 hydrogens on the right-hand side. Okay? My nitrogen's balanced, but now my hydrogens are off. What can I do to this hydrogen to make it a 6? 2 times what is 6? 2 times 3 is 6. Whatever you times it by, that is the number that goes in front. Okay, 2, 2, 6, 6, balanced. So then I rewrite it. N2 plus 3, H2 goes to 2NH3, balanced. Okay, so once you get the hang of it, it becomes really, really easy, but it's just about practicing. Okay, this one over here. Now, hydrochloric acid, you need to know hydrochloric acid is HCl. And magnesium. Magnesium's on the periodic table, Mg. Okay, magnesium. Combine to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. Magnesium chloride. Magnesium is in group 2. It gets a +2. Chlorine chloride is in group 7. It gets a -1. The 1 comes down to magnesium. The 2 comes down to the chlorine, so it becomes MgCl2. Okay, you have to crisscross or else you won't get this right. And hydrogen gas. We can just say H, and hydrogen is part of a diatomic molecule, H2. The gas is just there because we know that hydrogen is going to be in its gaseous form. But in grade 9, we don't have to worry. If you're in grade 10, 11, or 12, you need to make sure you're putting a G in brackets there. Okay, but in grade 9, we don't worry about that. So now that I've done this, I've said hydrochloric acid is HCl, magnesium is Mg, magnesium chloride is MgCl2 because I did my crisscrossing, and hydrogen gas. Next step is to halve it. On the left-hand side, hydrogen is 1, chlorine is 1, and magnesium is 1. I like to match the HCl and Mg on this side. Okay, so HCl and Mg. Even though this first one is not H, I like to match it so that they stay in the same line. So how many hydrogens? There are 2 hydrogens. How many chlorines? 2. And how many magnesiums? 1. Okay, so now that I've written that down, I can now just balance them. So here's 2 hydrogens, but here's 1. What can I do to this hydrogen to make it a 2? I times it by 2 to make it a 2. Whatever you times it by, that is the number that goes in front. And because I times this by 2, what effect does that have on chlorine? It also makes chlorine a 2. Oh, look at that. I have balanced it. 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. I don't even have to do anything else. This is how easy it's going to be in grade 9. Those of you watching it from grade 10, 11, and 12, this is a very simple one. But in grade 9, it's really not that bad. Okay, so rewrite it so that it's nice and neat. Okay, then last one. This one over here, okay, magnesium oxide. Again, I'm going to go. Magnesium is in group 2. Oxygen is in group 6. 2, 2, I don't have to crisscross, so it's just MgO. They're both 2's. And aluminium phosphate. Aluminium is in group 3. It gets a +3. Phosphate is polyatomic, 8. Remember, 8 means it's not on the periodic table. It's polyatomic. And PO4 is a -3. It's a 3 and a 3, so I don't have to crisscross. Just becomes AlPO4. Okay? Forms. Magnesium phosphate. Magnesium is in group 2. It gets a 2. Phosphate, 8, not on the periodic table, so your brain should jump to the fact that it is a polyatomic. Okay, we swap the 2's and the 3's, so magnesium gets the 3, and we put phosphate in brackets because phosphate must get the 2. Okay, and aluminium oxide. Aluminium is in group 3, it gets +3. Oxygen is group 6, it gets a -2. So when we crisscross, becomes Al2O3. Okay. Already, this is slightly more complex for grade 9s, but you're getting the idea. In grade 9, we'd probably already give it to you as it is, okay? But 10, 11, and 12, we would make you write it out like this. But in grade 9, we're a little bit easier on you. We would give you the symbols, and you would then just have to balance it, okay? Again, we halve it. On the left-hand side, there's 1 magnesium, okay? And there is 1 oxygen. On the left-hand side, there's 1 aluminium. And do you see this PO4 on the left? We also see PO4 on the right. And because it's on the left and the right, I can balance PO4s as a whole. I don't have to separate the P's and the O's. And what's the little number down here? It's a 1, so there's 1 PO4. On the right-hand side, magnesium, there are 3. Oxygen, I don't count this oxygen, it's just this oxygen here. There's 3 of them, okay? There are 2 aluminiums over here. And again, I can balance the PO4s. What's the number down here? It's a 2. Okay, so I can balance the 2s. This one, a little bit more complex. Unlikely you would get it in grade 9, but very normal for grade 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so let's start. This magnesium is a 3. This magnesium is a 1. I times this magnesium by 3 to get 3. Whatever you times by is the number that goes in front. By doing that, what have I done to the oxygen? I've also times it by 3 to make it 3. Okay, so magnesiums and oxygens are balanced. Great, I don't have to do anything. Now look at the aluminiums. I got 1 aluminium and 2 aluminium. So how do I get this aluminium to a 2? I times it by 2. Okay, 1 times 2 is 2. Whatever you times it by, that's the number that goes in front, okay, which belongs to the Al, but it also belongs to the PO4. So I times PO4 by 2 as well. So that means PO4 is also a 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, balanced. I would then rewrite it out so that it's nice and neat, and that's all it is. It's literally just a little bit of trial and error and also calming down and just doing the maths. You're generally using 2s, 3s, 5s. There's not really any bigger until you get to matric. Okay, this is as hard as it possibly is going to get in grade 9, and these are relatively easy-ish ones for grade 10. So please make sure you are calming down, you are actually doing and putting in the work. So this for me would be 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks. This is 4 marks. That's a lot. Okay, that could be like 2% of your paper. So it's quite a lot of marks, and because it's for 4 marks, you generally got about 4 to 6 minutes to do it. So you have the time. Calm down and just do it. Okay, don't skip over it. Don't do anything like that. Just try, because when you try, you're probably going to succeed. Okay, the next slides are just some worksheets that I'll show each page for a couple of seconds so that you'll get the worksheet and the memo. You can take some photos. So if you want to take your phone out now, you can take some photos of the worksheets with the memos so that you can practice at home. Okay, so here's the first worksheet. Okay, it's number 1 to 10. And there's the memo to match it. Okay, that's the second worksheet over there. They range from easy to difficult, so you can try them. And then there's the memo for that one. When it's already balanced, you see this one at the bottom here. If it's already balanced, you need to write already balanced. You can't just leave it, because if you leave it, the teacher's going to just assume that you didn't know what you were doing and you just left it. Okay, here's another worksheet, number 1 to 10. Okay, and here's the memo for that. Last one, number 11 to 20. Again, they range from easy to slightly more difficult. And here's the memo for that. Okay, I hope this helped. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to go over. Okay, bye.